Good day, viewers. I am Chloe Garces.
And I am John Janet Chavez.
Welcome to Play Like a Champ Basketball Tournament by Gordo's Crispy Pata. For today, we will have a recap of the previous games last Friday, July 29. 15 under for the first game who had their semis. 10-17 defeated D Basketball with a final score of 63-57 with Noah Sistio, their player of the game, who scored 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. What can you say about this game, John?
So, just like what we've expected, as it's already the semifinals for the 15 under, both teams were playing more intense as we are, once again, it's already the semifinals. And this was a very close game up until the very end. In the third quarter, 10-17 were able to have a little momentum and even got to extend their lead to 9 points. However, nearing the end of the third quarter, D Basketball was able to tie the game 45 all. So up until the third quarter, it was a very close game. However, for the fourth quarter, both teams continued to play intense and no one seems to be letting up. Down to the last 1 minute, 58-55, a 3-point lead for 10-17. And as they also had the ball possession, it was Renzo Gatmaitan who draws the foul and makes 1 out of 2 free throws, extending their lead to 4 points. And unfortunately for D Basketball, they were unable to score the very next possession. Therefore, in that last minute, they had to keep fouling in order to stop the time. And that resulted to free throws for 10-17 as they kept on extending their lead. And Noah Asistio hits the last 2 free throws for 10-17, ending the game with a score of 63-57. And the key factors for their win, Chloe, was their 22 second chance points, and once again, it's the height advantage of players like Rafa Bitch, Juancho Albero getting a lot of rebounds, yes. And they also had a wide arsenal when it comes to scoring options. Marami ang pwedeng panggalingan ng kanilang scoring as they had 47 bench points. So that's how they defeated D Basketball.
So, our second game for our 15 under semis again. Blue Knights defeated Podium Printing with a final score of 89-50 with Benedict Jimenez, their player of the game, who scored 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. So, what can you say about this game since medyo wala si Jimenez during the past games?
And as you can notice then, Chloe, it was a huge win for Blue Knights, 89-50. Blue Knights go on a 10-0 start in the first quarter as they kept displaying intense defense from the start up to the very end. So simula pa lang, andun na yung intensity ng Blue Knights. And throughout the game, they were able to get 66 points inside the paint, 30 points coming from turnover, and they were also completely dominant when it comes to rebounding as they had 67 rebounds compared to only 32 rebounds from Podium Printing. And 33 of those 67 rebounds from Blue Knights were offensive rebounds, and that resulted to 27 second chance points. And as you can see, it was Benedict Jimenez leading the way for them. And he also got a couple of offensive rebounds. And they also had a lot of help, also a huge arsenal for Blue Knights as they got 47 bench points also. And throughout the game, Podium Printing were unable to take the lead or even tie the game. And so it was a dominant win for Blue Knights, making their presence felt on the defensive end and from the very start, and finished the game with a blowout victory, 50-89. So it's a Blue Knights up against 10-17 in the finals for the 15 under.
On August 12.
Yes, on August 12.
For our third game, 11 under, Blue Knights defeated FBA with a final score of 56-44 with Jaden Pokis, their player of the game, who scored 10 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. What can you say about this game? Jaden Pokis as their player of the game since he's very young at the age of 11.
Yes, I believe it's already his second time being the player of the game, leading the way for Blue Knights. And this was a close game at the start, but it was a back and forth game as both teams were playing well early on as they ended the first quarter with a score of 15 to 13. So dikit lang, 2 points in favor of the Blue Knights. However, in the second quarter, Blue Knights' intense defense kept FBA to only 6 points. So 6 points lang ang na-score ng FBA as they pull away and end the first half with a score of 32 to 19. So biglang layo pagdating sa second quarter. Although when it came to the fourth quarter, Blue Knights were leading 40 to 25. It's Vian Riadica for FBA who made 2 3-pointers as he scored 8 points on their 12 to 2 run, cutting the lead down to 5 points. So they came close kahit papano in that last quarter. But unfortunately, momentum shifts back to Blue Knights and they were able to make defensive stops and they were able to play at their own pace again and they were able to get the job done. And again, it's the height advantage paving the way for them, Chloe, as they were able to their height advantage made it easier for them to score inside as they got 40 points inside the paint. And they also dominated in the boards in comparison with the FBA's 26. Blue Knights got 50 rebounds and 35 of those were offensive rebounds. So second chance points coming in once again for Blue Knights. And that led to 18 second chance points. And that's how the Blue Knights defeat FBA 56 to 44.
That was a close game.
Yeah, it came close, but
For our fourth game, 13 under, the basketball defeated Podium Printing with a final score of 59 to 39, with Lorenzo Arnaiz, their best player of the game, who scored 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. What can you say about this 20-point gap game?
A 20-point gap game, but this was also a close game from the start. But to get on with the details, the basketball with an 8-0 start in the first quarter, but Podium Printing were able to tie the ball game by the end of the first, all 12. And when it came to the second quarter, the basketball's defense emerged once again as they rally over Podium Printing. They were able to come up with a lot of steals with their trapping defense and a lot of easy baskets as they were running and finishing in their transition offense. After the second quarter, the lead has now ballooned to 17 points for the basketball, 38 to 21. And not much of a difference for the third quarter or for the second half as the basketball perseveres with their pestering defense as this was one of the key factors for their commanding victory as they got 18 steals which resulted to 24 points coming from turnovers, and they also had support from their bench with 27 bench points. They wrap up this game with a final score of 59 to 39.
For our last game last Friday, we had FBA who defeated Kawilihan Greeniez with a final score of 46 to 34, with Jack Houston, their player of the game, who scored 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists.
A nice game from Jack Houston as isa pa to, Chloe, also a close game at the start. But Kawilihan Greeniez able to pile up points early on the first quarter and they were able to gain an early 7-point lead, 9 to 2. However, FBA strikes back and makes a rally of their own, shifting the momentum to their side as they were able to come up with defensive stops and even a couple of steals as they go on an 11 to 0 run, ending the first with a score of 9 to 13. Close game as both teams exchanged baskets in the second quarter. However, heading on to the third, FBA gains the upper hand as they were able to generate defensive stops and easy baskets inside. They were able to continue on with their momentum and maintain that lead up until the very end. It was both teams had a lot of turnovers for this game, but as FBA had 21, the Greenies had 20 turnovers. But it was FBA who came up with 24 points coming from turnovers. And they also led in terms of rebounding with 36, resulting to 14 second chance points. And that's how FBA defeated the Greenies 46-34. And that concludes our recap for this day. And wag po kayong mawawala as we also have another set of games this coming Friday. It's already the semifinals for the 13 under.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for the 11 under, there will be no semifinals because I think there's only three teams. Yeah, there's 3 teams in the 11 under, and we'll head on straight to the finals for the 11 under. And for our schedule, ano nga bang schedule natin, Chloe?
For August 5, we will have our 13 under 2 p.m. semifinals, Smart Driving School versus D Basketball. 11 under 3:15 p.m. Kawilihan Greeniez versus FBA. 13 under 4:30 p.m. semifinals again, Blue Knights versus Podium Printing. And 11 under 5:45 p.m. Blue Knights versus Cavalian Greeniez. Cavalian Greeniez will have 2 games on Friday.
Yes, 2 games for the Greenies on Friday, and that is our schedule this coming Friday. We hope you are all excited as we are, especially sa nalalapit nating finals matchups for August 12. And once again, this is Play Like a Champ Basketball Tournament by Gordas Crispy Pata. My name is John Janet Chavez.
And I'm Chloe Garces.
We hope to see you all on our game day. Stay safe, guys.